What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Dark Waters, and I'm back with another video. For those of you who don't understand what's going on, I have my own website, iamdarkwaters.com. If you want to hear all the content, head on over to the website, iamdarkwaters.com, and you can get everything. There's plenty of stuff there that never gets uploaded to here. Now, I noticed something in my last video. Some of you guys on the YouTube, y'all feel like, oh, I'm going to put a timestamp. The video starts here, where you're skipping, encouraging people to skip past my sales pitch, which is telling them to become a member. You do that shit, I'm banning your ass because there's multiple reasons. Number one, you fucking with my paper. Number two, people don't hear the message, so they end up getting mad and be like, oh, you're not giving me the whole story. Because some asshole feels like he needs to put a timestamp. I didn't ask you to put a timestamp. Don't put no fucking timestamp. Either you listen or you don't, baby. And for those of you who've been swimming in the dark waters for a long time, y'all got y'all submarines, y'all got y'all yachts, y'all got y'all boats. Y'all doing what you're doing. You're out there jet skiing on the dark waters. Y'all know what's going down. I love you and I appreciate you, baby. But you know I got to deal with these newbies with this foolishness. So forgive me, but I got to deal with the newbies. Now let's get this rolling. My entire life, I had the ability to see spirits, both good and bad. Some of the good ones I call angels, but the other things are absolutely terrifying. For example, I'm 9 years old. My grandmother comes over to the house and I see what looks like a spider with wings on her back. I can see it and it can see me. Now, once the spirit realized that I could see it, I watched it burrow its way into her body. And then my sweet grandmother, who always told me I was her favorite, began to be mean to me and downright rude. This went on for the entire day until it was time to eat dinner. We're all at the table holding hands, and my dad blesses the food. And I mean a real short blessing. But once it's done, I watched this ball of light appear right behind her, and this hand reach out of that light into her back and rip that spirit out of her body. She starts coughing a little bit. Then she's back to normal. Understand, these are the things I've seen my entire life. And the worst thing for me, the absolute worst thing for me, is always when I'm in public. I remember taking a flight from Miami, Florida to Nashville, Tennessee. Walking through the airport was like walking through a spiritual zoo. Spider crow-like creatures. This thing with tentacles attached to this woman's private parts. Those tentacles extended to her son and her daughter's private parts. But the worst one was this man. Whatever was attached to him literally had thousands of tiny eyes. These eyes would stretch and reach out like tentacles, looking at women, looking at children. And you could tell when it found something that it really liked because hundreds of those eyes would stretch out at the same time and look at whoever or whatever it was. To this day, that's probably the most horrific thing that I've ever seen. Now, with that said, let me tell you what I've learned that allows me to manage this over the years. And that's pray. If you pray, God will send help immediately. Now, back to that guy I told you about with the eyeballs that extended out of his head like they were attached to rubber bands, looking at men, looking at women, looking at children. God, especially if there was a little girl around, all the eyes shot straight to her. Well, I'm sitting there watching this, and I close my eyes and I pray. And I say, God, please deliver this man from whatever affliction is affecting him and help him. Minutes later, I watch as three balls of light appear. They struggle to yank this energy out of his body. But once it was out, it looked like this 6-foot tall Smeagol from Lord of the Rings with thousands of eyes. Listen to me when I tell you, it was so bad for me to travel by plane that for the most part, I drive everywhere that I go. But when I was flying back and forth on planes, I didn't care if the flight was an hour long or 5 hours long. The minute I would take my seat, I would take a sleeping pill and put something over my eyes to cover them while I rested. And one of the times I didn't take a sleeping pill, I remember for the entire flight, the man that sat next to me had a gigantic snake wrapped around his body, and it just sat there looking at me with these golden eyes. Understand, I know you're listening to me right now and saying, this son of a bitch is crazy. Got to be out his mind. And truthfully, I don't blame you, because initially I thought I was crazy. But I'm going to prove it to each and every one of you right now. How many of you listen to the story right now have been mowing the lawn, cooking breakfast, folding clothes, laying in the bed watching TV, and you get this strange urge that comes over you? It can be an urge to eat Chips Ahoy cookies for all I care. It can be an urge to watch pornography. It can be an urge to masturbate. It can be a strange urge to do anything outside of the norm for you. Well, let me share something with you. When those strange, ungodly, weird urges come upon you, something from another dimension is attaching itself to you. How do I know? Because I have been seeing them my entire life. And all I'm trying to say to you is this: you don't have to believe what I'm saying, but if, just so happen, if you get this strange, ungodly, uncontrollable urge to do anything, I don't care if it's just to drink 20 cups of water, pray. Please trust me and pray.